everybody. My name's Courtney, and with all this coronavirus stuff going on, got me thinking what I can do to help. And what I can do is to help you stay active while we're stuck at home. So go ahead and grab a mat or clear a space, and let's get started. So we're going to start standing in Tadasana, or mountain pose. Checking in that your feet are beneath the hips, spine is tall, softening the tailbone down. We let the navel pull back towards the spine. Shoulders are open, neck is long, crown of the head reaches up, and the hands soften down by the side. If you need to shake them out or wiggle out the fingers, and then allowing them just to relax down by the side. If balance is good, you might even close the eyes as we just take a few breaths here to settle into the body. Starting to bring your awareness inside the body, just kind of noticing what's going on within, how we're feeling today, where we notice tightness, or maybe where we feel good. Notice if you've locked out your knees, see if you can take just a slight little bend in the knees so we find the strength in the legs to support us. And start to let the breath settle into that natural rhythmic place without much effort. Now I'm going to start by just finding a few small movements with the breath. So as we find an inhale, we might let the arms reach out and up. Inhaling up, we find just a gentle back bend opening through the front body. And exhale, we let the hands come back down by the side. Let's do that a few more times. Inhale up. And exhale, relax. 2 more. Last one. And just taking a moment, check in, see how that feels. We're going to add into that a little forward fold. We're going to work on our half sun salutations. A great way to get the body moving and connect the breath to the movement. So you can start with your hands here by the side. If you're more comfortable, you're welcome to bring your hands to heart center. We're going to find an inhale to bring the arms out and up. This time we're going to exhale, a little bend in the knees, hinging at the hips. We lead with the heart and fold forward. Inhale, we lengthen halfway up, reach the crown of the head forward. And exhale, fold back down over the legs. Inhale all the way up, reach the arms up. And exhale, those hands come back around either to the side or to heart center. I'll give you the side view as we do it again. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, lift up. Lengthen through the spine, open the heart, and exhale, fold back down. Inhale all the way back up. And exhale, hands come back around. 2 more. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, soften. Inhale all the way up. Exhale, hands back around. Last one. Inhale up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, soften. Inhale all the way up. And exhale, hands come back around. Take a few breaths here. Check in. Notice how the body feels. Releasing the hands, we'll go ahead and work a little bit with balance. So we're going to work on tree pose. We'll start with the right foot as our grounding foundation. Take the time to spread out the toes, ground down into that foot, and then make sure the hip is over the ankle. Take the gaze maybe just a few feet in front of you, finding a steady gazing point. And then as you're ready, you have a few options here. That left heel might come to the ankle, letting the toes just rest on the ground, creating a kickstand. You can always play a little bit here. Otherwise, you can bring the foot inside the calf or above the knee inside the thigh. Wherever you are, make sure you're pressing the foot into leg, leg into foot, opening up that left hip so the hip points out to the side. Keep the eyes steady. Hands can be at the hips. Hands could be out to help you balance, or hands might come towards heart center. Take a few deep breaths here, finding the strength in that standing leg and noticing it's not about being still. It's about allowing that standing leg, that standing foot to have all those little micro movements to help you adjust and keep your balance. And as you're ready, exhale, release. Shake it out, move the ankle around, whatever you need to do. And we'll set up for the other side. Left foot is down. Take the time to spread out the toes, hip over the ankle, eyes steady. And you find what works for you. If that's the ankle, the heel at the ankle, the foot at the calf, or the foot to the inside of the thigh. Staying away from putting any pressure on the knee. We open up through that right hip so it points out towards the side. Again, finding what works for you, if that's hands at heart center or the hips, or to help you balance. And if you fall, you fall. No judgment, you just try again. Coming right back to the pose. Finding an exhale. Release. Shake it out. Remember, I'm finding some strength in the legs. So taking the feet a little bit wider than hip width apart. Depending on your hips, it might be 3, it might be 4 feet apart. And just a nice wide stance. We're going to turn those right toes out for triangle pose. So the right toes point towards the narrow edge of your mat. The left toes point towards me. Hips are opening up, so externally rotating through that left thigh. We drop the tailbone down, gently pulling in the navel, lengthening through the spine. The movement here is in the hips. It's not the torso reaching down or collapsing. Keep length through the spine and let the hips guide the movement. Finding an inhale to bring the arms up. We exhale, pull that right hip back. Reach those right fingertips forward, finding length through the right side of the torso. As we allow that right hand to find the thigh, maybe the shin or the ankle. Left hand reaches up towards the sky. Palm opens up towards me. The gaze could stay down on the ground for balance. You want to work on turning the gaze up towards that left thumb. Keep reaching the crown of the head away from the hips and gently pulling back through that right hip while working to protect that right knee. Not blocking it out, but keeping a little bend in the knee. Couple breaths here. Pressing down into the feet. We're going to inhale, lift up. Exhale, relax the hands down. We're going to set up for warrior 2. Same stance, just a little bit wider. So seeing if we can take those feet a little wider apart, still keeping the hips open, tailbone soft, navel pulling back. This time the shoulders stay over the hips. As we inhale those arms up and exhale, bend that right knee. The right knee should be over the ankle. You should be able to gaze down and see just your right big toe. If you can see all your toes, maybe you bend a little more. If you can't see any of your toes, maybe you widen your stance. Softening the shoulders, arms are long, gaze is past those right fingertips. Couple breaths here. We're going to turn this into extended side angle, taking that right elbow down to the right thigh. Left arm might reach up towards the sky. If you have shoulder problems, keep the hand on the hip. Or we might bring that arm up and over, turning the palm down while we turn the gaze up. Keep sinking into the hips, find strength through that back leg. pressing into the little toe edge side of that back foot. And take a few breaths here. Pressing down into the feet, we inhale, lift all the way up, and exhale, relax those arms down. Let's take a wide-legged forward fold. Feet might be a little closer than they were before. All 10 toes, turn towards the long edge of your mat. We just exhale, fold down over the legs. Again, not locking out the knees, a little bend in the knees to protect those knee joints as we fold forward. Hands might come to the ground or ankles as we relax the neck and drop the head down. You can even move that head around a little, lengthen the spine a little. Find whatever movement feels good to you. And then pressing down into the feet, maybe a little bend in the knees, hands at the hips or thighs, help lift you back up. Let's set up for the other side. Turning the left toes out for triangle. And a little length through the spine again, keeping that awareness. The movement starts with the hips. So find strength in your foundation. As you're ready, inhale those arms up. Exhale, we reach those left fingertips forward, pull back through that left hip. Find length through the left side of the torso as we allow that left hand to come down towards the thigh, the shin, or the ankle. Gaze could stay on the ground, or you could work to turn the gaze up towards that right thumb. Keep reaching the crown of the head away from the hips, gently pulling back through that left hip. Breathe. As you're ready, pressing down into the feet, we inhale, lift back up. Exhale, relaxes the hands, and we set up for warrior two. Same stance, just a little bit wider apart. Keep those hips open, tailbone soft, navel pulling back towards the spine. Again, think about keeping the shoulders over the hips. So we inhale those arms up, and exhale, bend that left knee. Again, take some time to check in. Want the knee over the ankle. If we've got it a little too far, we could widen our stance, not far enough. We could narrow the stance, adjusting and then settling in. Soften the shoulders, neck is long, so we turn the gaze past those left fingertips. As you're ready, extended side angle. Left elbow comes down towards the left thigh. Maybe that right arm reaches up. Maybe it reaches up and over, palm faces down. So we turn that gaze up, rolling back through that top shoulder, sinking the hips down. Taking a few breaths here. As you're ready, pressing into the feet, inhale, we lift up. Exhale, relax down. Again, taking the feet a little closer together, pointing the toes forward. We'll exhale and find a forward fold. And feel free to find some movement here. If you want to bend one knee and then the other. Whatever feels good for your body. Back to center. As you're ready, a little bend in the knees, hands might come to the thighs as we inhale, lift ourselves back up. We'll go ahead and make our way down to the ground here. Coming onto hands and knees. So take a moment to make sure that the hands are beneath the shoulders, knees beneath the hips, nice long spine in between. Spread out those fingertips, ground down through the knees, the tops of the feet and the hands. And find a neutral spine here. Navel gently pulling back to create some space in the low back. From here, we're going to try a few cat-cow postures. Just moving with the breath Finding an inhale to drop the belly, lift the head and the hips, open the heart forward. And exhale, round the spine, head and the hips drop down, navel pulls up and back. Follow the breath, back and forth. This feels good. We keep doing this. We're going to explore some barrel rolls, maybe pressing through the right side of your rib cage, all the way up and around and down through the left side. Maybe we try that in the opposite direction. Maybe we just wiggle around a little bit and find what feels good. Finishing up with an exhale, we come back to a neutral spine. We are going to see about coming into downward facing dog. So tucking those toes a little bit, pressing into the hands. We find an exhale to lift those hips up and back. So staying here for a few breaths, feel free to pedal it out, softening one heel towards the ground, then the other. If this is too much for you, an option would be downward facing puppy, coming back to the knees and just walking the hands up to find that same stretch through the shoulders without so much weight on the hands. So always honoring your body and finding what works for you. Might see about trying a three-legged dog, reaching the right leg up towards the sky. You could keep the hips square. That would mean the toes point down towards the ground. Or you could start to open the hips, maybe even bending the knee, and pointing or flexing that right foot, wiggling the toes a little bit. And then letting that right foot come back down to the earth. We'll try the other side. Left foot reaches up. Again, you want to keep the hips square, lengthen through the leg. You want to start to open the hips and bend the knee. Just wiggling those toes a little bit. And then bringing that left foot back around. Finding your downward facing dog for a few breaths. And we'll go ahead and rest in child's pose. Knees come back to the ground. We might take those knees a little bit wider apart as the big toes come together. And we soften the hips back towards the heels. You could keep the arms stretched out in front of you. Or if you'd like, you bring the arms back by your side. As you're ready, using the hands to help lift you up, we're going to come over into a seated position. So we're going to take the legs nice and wide. And wide is a relative term, so if this is your wide, that feels good to you, then stay right there. You want to go to a place where you can feel a bit of a stretch, but not any pain. Seeing if you can press out energy through the heels, toes point up towards the sky. Now, maybe you notice already that it's pretty tight on your back, so you're rounding your spine. Use your hands on either side of the hips to help lift up, lengthen the spine, and support the torso. Maybe this is your pose today because this feels good, and this is where you're at. If you feel like coming forward, you can keep the hands behind you to help you hinge at the hips and bring the heart forward. Maybe just an inch or two is all you need. If it sounds like a good idea to bring the hands forward, you bring the hands forward. And follow the breath. Inhale, lengthens the spine. opens the heart. Exhale, maybe we find just a little more room to hinge from the hips. Coming forward. Be mindful of what's going on in the legs. Keep energy moving out through those heels, so we're keeping the leg muscles active. All right, as you're ready, we inhale, lift back up. We'll bring the heels together for bound angle pose. Heels come together, knees open wide. We're all gonna be a little different here, finding a little bit of space between the hips and the heels, or bringing the heels in a little bit closer. If you start to bring the heels in closer and the knees come up, create a little more space so that the knees can soften down. Again, if you notice yourself rounding the spine, maybe we bring the hands to either side of the hips to help us lift up and support the spine. If that feels good, you want to bring the hands towards the ankles. And if it feels like you want to fold forward, again, think about hinging at the hips. So it's the heart coming towards the toes, not the head. Find length through the spine, hinge at the hips, and maybe just an inch or two makes all the difference in the world. Take a few breaths here. Inhaling back up if you folded forward. We're going to go ahead and bring the knees together and we're going to work on boat pose. I'm going to turn to the side so you can see a little bit better. Hands might come behind the thighs. Press down into the sit bones. We're working to pull the heart forward, the shoulders back. Long spine here. Maybe we work on bringing one foot up, maybe 2 feet, maybe one at a time. And we use the support of the hands to help us find the posture. If we find we don't need the support of the hands, we might extend the arms out. And if we really want to challenge ourselves, you could work on lengthening one leg, the other leg, or both legs. You should feel pretty good shake here. Keep breathing. And as you're ready, exhale. We'll release down, and we'll find our way down onto our mat, rolling the spine down. Take a few breaths here. Just find length through the spine, let the shoulders soften, the heart open up. I like to press the feet down into the earth just to lift the tailbone enough to create some length through the low back, and then soften the tailbone down into the earth, creating space through the low back. Check in with the breath. Come back to that natural, rhythmic breath. Say hi to Kiwa. So from here, we're going to work on opening the hips just a little bit more with a figure 4. Bringing the right ankle to the left hip. Opening the hips up. You can use that right hand to gently guide that right knee away from the torso, pressing energy out through that right heel. Now, if this is good, you stay here. If you want to take this pose a little deeper, the hands might come around the left thigh. That right hand comes through the little pocket. And we let that left foot leave the earth. Still working to keep that right knee moving away. Soften the shoulders, open the heart, energy through the heels. And if you'd like, maybe even lengthening through that left leg, creating a figure 4. Couple breaths. As you're ready, letting that left foot come back down to the ground, and then the right. We'll do that to the other side. Left ankle comes up to the right thigh, using the left hand to gently open up through that left hip, letting that left knee come away from the torso. Pressing energy through that left heel. This side might be different, so take a moment to check in. Notice how it feels. If you'd like, letting the hands come around that right thigh, we let the right foot leave the earth. Shoulders are soft, heart is open. Keeping energy through the feet, we might extend that right leg up towards the sky. Taking that right foot back to the earth, we release the hands. Left foot comes back down to the ground. We'll find a lumbar twist. Taking the right leg long, we keep a bend in that left knee. Pressing energy out through that right heel. The arms, depending on how much room you have, might be out in one long line, palms face up. You could also find cactus arms if you're a little short on space. Finding a long spine. I actually like to press my left foot into the earth to help lift the hips and shift onto that right hip. As we exhale, bring the left knee over towards the right side, letting that left hip roll over onto the right. Now, if the spine doesn't feel like it's in alignment, take some time, lengthen the spine. Create some space between the shoulders as you start to ground the shoulders down, maybe even turning the gaze towards that left hand. Keep energy through that long leg. And breathe. As you're ready, finding an inhale to lift that left knee back up. You might have to shift the hips a little bit. We'll set up for the other side. Left leg is long, right knee is bent. Again, the arms are however it works for you. You want to press into that right foot, tucking that left hip under so that the spine stays in line with that left leg. We exhale, roll onto that left hip, right knee comes across. Notice if that right shoulder wants to come up, and see if you can soften it to the ground. You might have to adjust a little to do so. Gaze could turn away from that right knee or towards the right hand. As you're ready, finding an inhale to bring that right knee back up, shifting the hips. Take a moment here if you need any other final movements. You want to shift around, open the legs. You could hug the knees in towards the chest. You could even take a little happy baby, grabbing onto the toes, or the ankles, letting the heels come towards the sky. Whatever final wiggles or movements you need here. When all that feels good, we're going to start to settle down for Shavasana, our final relaxation pose. Lengthening out the legs, maybe the hands come out to the side, palms face up, and we soften the shoulders down into the ground. Take a few breaths here, just settling in. If you need to make adjustments, finding a place where you can be still. Letting the eyes close. Letting the breath soften. Each breath helping us settle into this space just a little bit more. The mind quiets down. Letting go of all the busyness, all the thoughts. settle into stillness. Taking just a few moments for yourself. And feel free to stay here as long as you'd like, as long as it feels good. And if you're ready, you could start to take a few deep breaths. Find some movement, stretching through the arms, the legs, wiggling the fingers or the toes. Starting to make your way from Shavasana however it works for you. Bending the knees. You could roll to one side or hug the knees into the chest. And then slowly making your way back up to an easy seated position. Taking a moment to find that tall spine, soft shoulders. And noticing how it feels within. Seeing if you can take whatever it is you found here on your mat and carry it with you through the rest of the day. Thank you so much for taking this time. Namaste.